Wondering how to fall completely in love with the people and things that surround you at home? I've spent the last 15 years studying how and where families thrive and what relational and house characteristics ignite us with that homey feeling. On this podcast, we uncover how our brains process the people we live with and the houses we live in so we can confidently create our homes to be wonder-filled connection magnets. Ready to give up the decision fatigue, comparison hives, overwhelmed ulcers, and confusion chaos? You are in the right place. I'm your host, Carly Thornock. Welcome to Becoming Home. What is up, homies? So glad that you are here. Today, I have Wanda Howard with me. Hey, Wanda.
Hello. I'm excited to be here.
So glad that you are here. We're going to be talking about teaching opportunities that come with home creation. Now, if you guys have been listening to the podcast for a little while, you've known Wanda from before. She's our parenting expert. She's so good at helping us walk through how to think about and how to relate to our kids as we're doing everyday life. And one part of everyday life that I happen to be privy to a lot of the time is setting up your house. So I asked Wanda to come on today and talk to us about how do we do house and kids and where do they fit in? You have 3 kids, right, Wanda?
4 kids.
4. Oh, I forgot. It counts as 5. She just told me that her little one just chopped off all of her hair. On days like that, it counts as double.
I agree with that.
Our sweet kids. Okay, so Wanda, here's what my clients say. And this has happened multiple times. So I'd really love your perspective about this. They say, I want to design a room for my kid. I love my child. I want the room in my home to be intentional. I don't want it to look like riffraff. I want it to look put together. I want to teach them how to steward their things, but they want to do something that I really think is ugly or dumb. So sometimes it's like, they want to have their bed against the wall where it doesn't make sense, or they want stuffed animals everywhere. They want the poster of the thing. So what would take us through, like if this were your client, how do we need to be thinking about this so that our parenting is preserved and we like enhance the relationship in your eyes and with your program and your expertise? What would you do? Help us out.
Yeah, this is a topic that is dear to my heart because there's been so many times. And I think in general, moms like to just create. That's their home. They've been dreaming about it their whole life, and they want to create this beautiful space and have all the cute things and just have it be magical. And then when one of the little humans in our life has a different magical idea that's not so magical to us, it's definitely, it's how on earth do you let that in and have it be a good thing? And also maybe say no and not crush their little hearts. So
exactly.
Yes. The first thing that I would say, and this is definitely something that Carly goes in her program as well, is define why you're doing it. Define what is the end result, the end purpose of what's going on. So for example, with a bedroom, right now, we're actually in the middle of designing and creating blueprints for our dream home and putting it all together. And the kids are going nuts over their room design. And at first it was kind of stressing me out because my oldest, she was saying she wants green carpet and bright purple walls.
Yes. And it's not alone. Like this is not uncommon for kids, yes.
Right? And so at first I was like, I want to say yes, but I also don't want that in my house. And so how do you do that? And so I started getting specific of, well, what is the purpose of this home and what can we do? And as I started just applying those principles, I was able to realize, well, this home is for dreaming. And right now we can do that. Right now, nothing's set in stone. Nothing is permanent. I want this home to be about dreaming. And that's exactly it's inspiring in her. So it's actually, even before it's been built, it's already doing its purpose. So I just started embracing it. That just knowing that that's where I was going helped me to relax and be like, this is dream. This isn't concrete. This isn't permanent. This is dreaming. And then I was able to like just explore with her and be like, ooh, yeah, what would you put on the green walls? And what are the purple walls? And what would you do with the green carpet? Like, why green carpet? And as we just started exploring, her ideas started evolving. And she herself started talking her out of the green carpet. And she's like, actually, green carpet might clash with this thing that I want. And, oh, and this might work out better. And so she kind of talked herself out of things. And again, there's been ideas that have come in that have been as equally bad, in my opinion. But the point is that kids want to explore. And a lot of the time, it isn't about when they bring an idea to you that this is absolute, that this is how it has to be. And I think as parents, we feel this obligation to create every dream that our child has. But really, the magic is when you allow yourself to just dream and not create every dream, but to explore the dreams with them. So that's kind of the basis of where I would start.
Whoa, that is so good. That is so good because we don't let ourselves dream either.
It's so true. It's
feels
so
like
hard.
Evidence of how we talk to ourselves, don't you think?
Well, I think a lot of the time too, we will start this process of dreaming, and especially we start becoming more and more aware of like, oh, we need to dream more. We need to dream more. And so as adults, how we do that is we start getting very clear on what to dream about and how to dream about it. And then again, it puts us back in this just road of the end goal. It's just exploring the possibilities and just exploring instead of making it feel like this design would define me.
Yes. It's like we marry it too early.
Yeah.
You have to date around. I tell a lot of my clients, all my clients, that when we're designing a room, you have to come up with at least 5 different layouts of your furniture. Because the first 3 are going to be all the ones that you think you have to do that are the standard things you've always seen. Like, we're going to do an L-shaped sectional and a chair on the opposite side. But once you get to like iteration 4 and iteration 5, you have to think of something crazy. And so you have to let go of all these rules. And to have your kids go through that process, for you to sit with them as they go through that process, it teaches them with your home as a tool that their dreams are non-ceilinged. Like they can dream as big as the stars. There's nothing that they can't imagine. And then what they decide to actually do will be limited, will be like focused in eventually. But if you don't start by dreaming big, you have nothing to focus in on.
Yeah. And I love that idea of we marry it too soon. Definitely date around first. And that's such a good exercise of just putting out those different blueprints of what would this be like and what would this be like, because that's huge. We so often put barriers on our own mind before we've even begun what's actually possible.
And to teach our kids, just like you said, dream, dream, dream. Imagine all you want, and then ask lots of curious questions, and they can talk themselves into or out of their own ideas. And you really don't even have to do that much policing. Like, that's a beautiful example.
One of the topics that's been going around right now a lot is the Warner Brothers. My daughter is also huge in like just everything robotics and engineering and coding. And so all inventions just light her up. And she has been so fascinated with the Warner Brothers. And we were reading part of their story. And the part that she loves the most, that she points out to me almost daily now, is that, Mom, everybody laughed at them when they said that they wanted to fly. Everybody thought that that would be impossible and that they didn't have the education, they didn't have the background, they didn't have the right qualifications. But through playing, everybody flies now.
Wright Brothers? Are you talking about the airplane invention?
Oh, yes, Wright Brothers, Warner Brothers. No.
With you, I'm like, oh, yes, everybody does laugh at them, but they like that. The Warner Brothers, Bugs Bunny. Yeah. I'm with you. Okay, I'm with you.
Totally wrong, people.
No, similar. They're both inventors of their own right. No, I was actually talking to my kids about this exact same thing. Like, there was a time when people were like, oh, Orville, that's funny that you have that kite. That's impossible. Your dreams are crazy. And now literally $1 billion empire for multiple companies It's how we do things. It's not even a blip on our radar anymore. It's really true. And when we I call this like cutting our wanters short, where we don't let ourselves want or experience what it feels like to imagine if we want it. We just interrupt the thought pattern with like, that's dumb. That's not going to work. This like chastiser in our brain gets going instead of just letting ourselves free want, dream big.
Well, and I think too, this gets in the way of our relationship structures as well. So often we've built these parameters in our life of what our house should look like, what our relationship should look like, what a good marriage functions like, how a good parent behaves. And just in every area, we have these manuals or these structures, these limitations. But as we just start to develop that imagination, it becomes a lot more about what can we create instead of how do I stay in the lines?
Oh, man. Talk more about that.
Let's start with like, how do you actually get there? How do you allow yourself to dream? Because I know for me, there's different cycles, different phases. And with the people that I've helped coach as well, there's times where dreaming simply looks like following those dreams, acting on them, and not just saying, oh, that'd be nice, but that's impossible. But actually being like, this is my dream and I'm going for it. Mm-hmm. So there's definitely that cycle of phase. But within dreaming, there are just like the seasons. There's seasons of dreaming. So when we're in this phase of that can feel very fulfilling and very wonderful. But when that phase is over, sometimes, or like we finish it, we accomplish that, then oftentimes it can feel like, okay, well, I need to figure out my next dream. I need to figure out the next big thing. And we almost put even more restraints and more pressure on ourselves to figure out what to do next. But just like in seasons, like in wintertime, I'm not outside. I love being outside, but I do not like being cold. So in wintertime, I'm going to just kind of observe life going on. I'm going to do as much as I can inside and just kind of relax as the season does its thing. And I just don't even want to go outside very much. And we have that in our dream phases too. So what I would say about being able to step outside of those boundaries or those lines is don't force it. Don't feel like this has to be this big, like overwhelmingly amazing thing, but just start to observe, start to notice, start to take off the pressure of yourself of dreaming is always this huge and magical experience, because dreaming oftentimes has these phases of just peaceful observance. It's not an active effort to create or to make sure that you know what you're going for. It's just this peaceful observance. And while you're peacefully observing what else could be possible, to just enjoy the dreams you've already created. And when you do that, when you actually figure out like just to enjoy the dreams that are all around you, then you're actually able to start getting over that line a lot faster, because you already enjoy it. You already are enjoying that process. And then it's not this like overwhelming, what am I supposed to do next to do the next big thing? But you just become in this perpetual season of dreaming, I guess. Hopefully that was clear.
Yes. I think that gives me the feeling of a lot of space, because to be able to listen to my child dream about anything, really, whether it's, I don't know, my kids are into these like bionicle things. They're like Legos, Lego warriors, right? And they just can yippity yap about those things all day long and tell me about all their superpowers and tell me about how they move and what they do and who they saw on the road. You know what I mean? There's a whole storyline. But to give them the space of creation, the space of dreaming about their bionicles, but also about their bedrooms, or also about how they want to put a zip line from our kitchen to our bathroom and drop in the tub, and then they can do a flip and like the story. There's a story. To just be able to give them the room, the space, the allowing to talk about it without marrying it. It's a hard thing, but just what you were talking about gives that space of, there's room for this. This is a restful, allowing time. And this isn't the action time. When action time comes, we'll have to make decisions and we'll talk about it and we'll narrow it down. But right now is just the chatting and the imagining. That's so cool.
Yeah. And I would add to those listening, like if this is something like a skill set that you want to get better at, or it's just feels uncomfortable because it's a skill set, it's something that is hard to know. Like, am I doing this in a productive way, or am I getting in my own way? And how do I just continually enjoy it instead of enjoy it for a moment and then go right back into the rut of like pushing myself beyond my limits? Like if you're actively asking those questions and wondering like, how do I just enjoy this process? I would very much encourage you, go join the Knowing, like what Carly does. It's incredible. And just the ideas that bounce around and the people talking about their different experiences and how it relates to their house and how just the environment that we're creating. It's a game changer to be able to hear free expression from other people experiencing similar things and experiencing other things that in ways that you might not have thought of before. It really does open up just this dream part of your brain. So definitely go do that if that is something that you're like, oh.
Yeah, do. Everybody come join the Knowing. And also, Wanda's expertise about parenting is phenomenal. And if you find that you want intensive one-on-one attention on your experience, your kid, your spouse, and you want to just really hyper focus on this parenting aspect, we cover this a little bit in the Knowing, but Wanda is like your platinum level parenting expert deep dive. This is something that you are wanting to go into. I'll have her website linked in the show notes. Go check out what Wanda's doing and get on a call with her. And you can make a plan with her without any long-term commitment. She can just help you like strategize an intensive session. These are really, really awesome because she can take in all this information about you, point you in the right direction, and slap the horse on the hindquarters and you can take off running. You can be in the right direction with the momentum that you need with Wanda. So there you go. There's some places you can go if you want to learn more. Wanda, it's always so much a pleasure. Huge pleasure to have you on the podcast. Thanks for joining me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Carly. That is such a fun conversation. I'm so glad I was able to be here. And thanks for the shout out too.
Oh, yeah. Love you, Wanda. And love all you people too. Go make a huge mess and we'll talk to you soon. Hey, if you're loving what you're hearing and you want to know more, I invite you to go over to carlythornock.com and you can pick up a free guide. These are the 3 biggest mistakes that people make when setting up their houses. And I don't want you to make the same mistakes. And of course, in true Carly fashion, you know it's going to be a lot less about the house and a lot more about your perspective about the house, but with some good housey tips thrown in. Go over to carlythornock.com and you can pick up that today.